Good morning. Welcome back to the factory. I've been very busy doing some videos lately. My name's Dave Long from David Long Custom Lures in Hervey Bay, and today I'm just going to do a short video on how to put a 2-pack epoxy resin on the lures after you paint them. And this is mandatory, but I like to do it as it gives us protection and also brings out the colours in a realistic mode. Okay, anyway, so here's the two lures I'm going to do today. Normally I do them in a batch because when you mix this resin, which is a 2-part mix, I'd like to make it go as far as I can. So anyway, I'm going to show you the process. So you've probably seen these in 2 previous videos. This is what I use, Envirotex Light. I can get this from a supplier down in the southern states for a fairly good price, and it goes a long way. All right, I can do hundreds, if not 1,000 lures on this. So that's what I'll be using, and it comes in a 2-part mix with a resin is 1 and 2 is the hardener, okay, which I'll show you how I mix it. Anyway, I've been using this for years, and at the moment I'm just so happy with it. I'm not going to change. I have tried a couple others, but I found this one to be the best for where I live and for the application, of course, on the lures. So, okay, let's get into it. Now, what I've got is that's a new pack, by the way. So I'm using the old lure, resin, sorry. That I haven't finished yet, so that's just a backup. So I'll just put that away up here on my crowded shelf. Okay, so what else have I got? I've got 2 brushes, one for application, which is applying it onto the lure, and the other one, which I've marked, is for mixing. Okay, so I'll show you all about that in a minute. And of course I've got something to mix in. I just got this measuring pot, which is still got excess resin in it, as you can see. Okay, so what I've done at the moment with this resin, I've heated it up just using boiling water, and that makes it more pliable, and I find it applies a lot better. I don't have to use as much, and it seems to go on very smoothly. Okay, anyway, we'll get that resin and we'll start mixing. Alright, so here's the first one. And I think this, I've lost all the labelling of it, but anyway, I'm pretty sure that this is the hardener. Okay, so anyway, I'll just wipe that hot water off, and it is hot. Okay, it's warmed up. And now, how do I measure this? Because this is a 2-part mix. It needs to be measured precisely, or the best you can, to 50-50. Okay, so what I normally do is use a little set of scales to measure the weight, but I haven't got that here today as the batteries run out. But anyway, we'll just do it the old method that I used to do, and what I'll do, I'll just measure it up to a increment here, or a part of the thread that I think is the right measurement, and we'll try and do that for both the hardener and the resin. Okay, so here's the hardener, and we'll just measure it up. You don't need a lot. Okay, all right, now what I might do is put another light on here, because my eyesight's not too good. That's better. There, that's better. Okay, now I'm just measuring that up a little bit. Not enough yet, so I'll just put in a bit more. That's perfect. All right, that's perfect. Okay, so I'll get that mixing brush, all right, that I mentioned before, and we'll just pour that in to, you can see that, and I use that brush to just get all the residue out, residual, or whatever you call it, residual, that's it. Just making a note that that's the side of the mixing container that I'm getting the excess out. All right, so now I'll just turn that around. Okay, and I'll put this back on the lid. There we go. Just put that to one side. Okay, now we'll get the resin. Okay, right here, we'll do the same thing. We're going to measure, hopefully exactly the same. So I've just gone over, see that middle sealing ring in there? I've just gone over the top. So I'll just pour this in. And that should be, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, that's good. That's good. Now I'll get the other brush, all right? I'll just wipe that thread. So I don't want to waste this. Even though I said it's fairly economical, it still is expensive. Okay, so for this setup, you're probably looking at $30 plus. Anyway, so I'll just use that brush again, put it in. All right, in goes the resin, and I'll just get the residue out with that. Doing that precisely as I can. So as you can see, I've swung this around, so I'm using the other side. I'm not mixing that on any brushes as yet. Okay. Now, of course, when you put this on the back on the bottle, it'll leak a little bit. All right. So I'll just give it a bit of a wipe with an old tissue or something. That's the way. I'll do the same with the other bottle too. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's all right. I'll just give my hands a little bit of a clean. It helps a little bit. Okay, so we have both mixes in there now. Now the next important thing to do is to mix this thoroughly. Okay, make sure that it's really mixed, because if it's not, it'll stay wet, it won't go off. Okay, so what I do, I just use the brush I'm going to use on the lures as a mixer. So I'm just mixing it now, as you can see, and just going up to the top there, and just thoroughly mix that in. So now it's getting really bubbly and it's changing colour. As you can see, it's because there's so many bubbles in it, it looks white, and that's a good thing. I find that that's mixing very well. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'll just give that a bit of a wipe around there, making sure everything in that mix is mixed. There we go. That's good. Okay, so now we've got our 2-pack ready. What I'm going to do is just try and keep everything clean here, as I do, but you still get a bit of a spillage or mix splatter. Anyway, let's go on to our first lure. I'm going to get pliers too. We'll need those. So generally what I do, I actually hold on to the bib with the hanger in it, all right? Because afterwards we're going to hang these in my drying cap section up there and let it cure for say 24 hours, and then tomorrow I'll come back to it, just check it and see if it's gone off properly, covered properly, and also looks okay. Maybe I can get away with one coat, but generally in this location geographically you really need 2 coats, because we are in a bit of a higher humidity area, and humidity and this don't mix at all. Okay, so anyway, let's go for the first one. Now you don't need a lot, as you'll see. I'll just apply that. I generally go vertically first and watch those colours pop. They're just popping at the moment, which is a good thing. I really like this. This is one of my favourite parts. And I'm going over this eye. Remember when I put these eyes in, I use super glue, and this is why I use super glue, is because sometimes that eye might move down the lure or over here, and you've got to get it back with the aid of the brush. And it's a real tricky thing, and sometimes when they're drying they'll move again. So anyway, it just holds it firm. So I'm only using a little bit of resin on there, and look at those colours pop. That's just beautiful. Okay. Now it's got that wet look, and also it's got that protection too, because 2-pack epoxy resin is tough as nails, tough as nails. All right, so we'll just go over the other side there. Okay, oh yeah, that looks good. I really like that. There we go. Just keep doing that vertically. I'm still going vertical here. And this resin goes a long way. I guarantee you, it goes a long way. You don't need a lot. Generally I do about 10 at a time, which is better. Okay, now we're going to go horizontal, and this just gets everything covered nice, and especially the scales and the raised parts of the bait. Okay, like that. Just gently, and you'll see that we've got a good coverage, and that also gets rid of the air bubbles out of the resin. There, how's that? Eh? Too easy, isn't it? Okay, now I want to do the bib. I do the bib because what it does, if you look at a bib, it looks a little smoky and sort of straight out of the factory look. So what I do is I cover that too, and it gives it two things. It looks good, but it also gives it a bit of protection too, because these lures go through a hard time. They'll hit tree stumps and rocks and things like that, see? So I'll just hold on to that, and we'll give this a bit of a coat too, just a little coat, nothing much. And I don't want to go down on the eye, because that's where I'm actually using the hanger on this to dry it. Okay, so we'll just give that a little coat, and that comes up very nice, very nice. That's all it needs, just a little coat. There we go. Okay, that's all we need. Now this will be probably the first coat, but it's come up very nice. We'll see what it looks like when it dries, okay? Because it is a little bit hot at the moment, but it is humid too. We got a cyclone off the coast, and that's sort of upsetting the... Oh, there, how's that? And that'll be dried. Now, another thing is, I generally put in, where's one? Here we go. I generally, for the drying purpose, I will actually put that in the tail. Now, there's a reason for that. Like that, see? You see that? That's how it'll look hanging. So the reason is, if there's any excess resin on that lure, it will actually move down, and this will give it a little guide down to one spot, not all over the place. Okay, so it just makes it a bit neater on the hanger. Okay, so I'll put that up there, and we'll do this one here. Okay, so this is the same thing. This one here, that's the golden shiner that I did the other day. I'm not too sure if I put the video up, but if you haven't seen it, just let me know. And excuse me, it's just the same principle. Excuse me. And we'll just put that in there. Again, I just hold on to the bib, and we do the resin coat here. Do it vertically. On this one here particular, there's a lot of raised areas on the lure, and look at those colours pop. That is just magic. I love it. So when the fish sees this, it'll be seeing a more natural morsel to eat. It does give that wet look, doesn't it? Okay, so we'll just go vertically here. That's it. Now I've also signed it, and I've also put some initials down the bottom here describing the action of the lure, and this one is FL, and that means floating. Okay, so you'll see that on a lot of my lures. More information people have got, the better. Okay, we just get into those little crevices there. We're still going vertical on the other side now. That's it. And look at those. Oh, those colours are popping. Beautiful. Look at that dot. Bang. That cool dot just exploded out of the boat. Okay, that's good. All right, so that's the vertical. Now we'll go horizontal, just to get the air out of it. And this one here, what I might do, I don't see any air bubbles, but what I can do to alleviate or to get rid of air bubbles out of these is heat it up again. And look at that lateral line. See that lateral line there? Look. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's beautiful. Look. That's good. Anyway, I get excited about these, especially when they catch fish. Ooh. This one here, you could use this in fresh water too, but yeah, I think pattern would be good in salt water. I've caught some flathead and even stargazers. I've thought, it must hug the bottom, and he dives down about a metre, and it must hug the bottom, and those bottom feeders just can't resist it. Anyway, okay, so that's good. So now I'll put on a, what do we got here? I'll put that on, doesn't matter. There we go. Okay, so I just lost my light, but anyway, that's that top coat there. I'll just hang this up and wait till it dries. There is a little air bubble there, so I might heat it up with the air gun. That one. Actually, we didn't do the bib, did we? So I might put that up. I'll just heat that out. There you go. Alright, so I'll get my pliers again, we'll do the bib. There. Now, I'm sorry about the light, but it just died up there. So anyway, we'll just see if you can see this. I'll just give that a little bit of a touch up on the bib, because, you know, it's going to be hitting rocks and sand and all sorts of things under the water. It clears it up too. It looks less smoky and a bit more presentable too. Okay, so that's it. We'll hang these up to dry, and we'll show you the result when it dries, hopefully. Okay, so thank you for watching, and have a good day. Okay, bye.